morning. Welcome to the New Coach Show. I'm Corrina Steward. I am your soul wealth coach, and I support you to activate your wealth so that you can manifest your deepest, highest calling. And particularly today, I want to talk about creating a legacy of wealth in your life so that not only you can make a huge difference in the world, but everyone will know your name. And there's this imprint that goes far beyond this moment, far beyond maybe even what you can see into the future of humanity and into the planet. And I want to share with you specifically something that was shared with me last night as I was going to sleep. And some of you may not know this about me, but I'm, one of my gifts is incredible intuition, as well as being a seer, someone who's clairvoyant. And I receive code, what I call code. Code is it's a type of universal language of the universe, of reality. Think of code as computer programming that dictates the functions and the operations of our reality. We are living in a co-created reality that consciousness is creating. We are consciousness streaming into life. And so last night, as I was going to sleep, I closed my eyes, and often this happens for me where I just close my eyes and boom, it's there, an image and something I'm seeing. And before I share that, I want to just back up and teach you all something about what is the new wealth consciousness that's come into the planet and what it means for you and how to access it. So in order to understand the information that I received, first you need to know about the money code of money is service. Money is service is actually the first frequency level of the new wealth consciousness, okay? And so what does it mean? It means that when you are in service to others, okay, not in service to self, which how does that look? That's when you're worried about paying your own bills. That's when you're worried about, or your focus is on filling your own cup, even family. I was text messaging with some of you last week, and I asked one woman, her question to me was, how do I create more money? How do I create more wealth? And I said, well, why do you want it? And she said, to help my special needs child and my sick dog. I said, okay, I get that. I understand that from the place of your heart and the personal desire for that. Totally understandable. What I shared with her was that she needed to shift her consciousness actually to a higher location, where instead of wanting to create the money for those reasons, which actually are personal, I mean, it sounds very reasonable, right? But replace that with any other story, whether it's, well, I've got to pay my electric bill, I got to pay my car bill, well, money makes the world go round. All of that is actually very personal, okay? And it's personal need. It doesn't pertain to anyone else's life but your own, all right? And that is the same with taking care of family and your children and dogs, and it's personal. It is actually not of service. And so I said to her, I said, well, what are you being called to do? That is actually the question that you want to lead with. All right. It's not, how do I make money so I can pay for XYZ? No, it's, what am I being called to create? What am I being called to lead? What am I being called to serve my life into? That is where you begin. And when you begin with that question, you have immediately shifted your consciousness into a higher vibration. It is actually a frequency of wealth. So that is how you gain access to this code of money as service. Well, what happens when you do that are a few activations. The first, of course, is from within, which is this shift in your mindset about how you view your own life and how you view existence. Right? Because the truth of the matter is, you are not alive to serve limitations or to solve problems per se in the short term. You are actually here to serve and make a difference in the entire blueprint of humanity, which is ultimately saying that you are here to create a legacy upon this earth. Everyone is here to create a legacy. Everyone. Now, not everyone will choose it, but everyone is actually here to create that, if you will accept the invitation. Okay, so That's the first activation, which is just the shift in your perspective on what the meaning of your life is. That will immediately create this vibration and money around you, because it's a shift in the quantum field around you. And that includes money, because money is united with all things. Money is not separate from you. Money, in fact, is you. It's inside your heart. Now, the second activation that happens in that moment is that you have just invited in the essence of your soul, okay? And when I say essence, I literally mean the body of your soul into this reality. You have called it into your body. And when you have called the essence of your soul into your body to serve that purpose, to serve others, that is a tremendous activation instantly, just by asking that question. What am I being called to create? What am I being called to do right now? How am I being called to serve? All right, boom, you've now invited in your soul's essence to drop into your body, to come into this time-space reality, because, you know, we actually have competing realities at once. Past, present, future, multiple futures, multiple pasts. There really isn't anything such as that. It is actually all one reality. But in this moment, you are the leading consciousness, okay? And as the leading consciousness, you're making decisions and choices about what aspect of yourself, what version of yourself you want to show up right now. Okay, so reiterating, first is to shift your perspective and ask the right questions. Questions that are of high consciousness that will immediately shift you into the frequency of wealth. What am I being called to serve? Second is to immediately, and this is just an inner experience, that will call forward, if you really mean it, if you're really dedicated to that calling, that purpose, and serving others, your soul essence will come into your life. It will come into this reality, all right, into your body. And that frequency shift begins to realign, okay? And when I say realign, even imagine it like a spinning, okay, in the quantum field of your reality. Now, quantum just means at the smallest particle level, or the smallest level of reality. I mean, it goes even smaller than that, but we're going to go quantum right now, right? We've got cells that's pretty small, and we just could keep going smaller and smaller and smaller until we get to quantum field, protons, electrons, okay? So we're in the quantum, okay? And when we're in the quantum, the vibrational spin shifts now to, once again, serving from the frequency of your soul. Okay, that is when money starts to fill with your light. Okay, you can actually even imagine that, let's say you've got a savings account or just any money that's coming in and out of your life, whether you're paying something or receiving, if that money actually becomes activated into your soul's essence. It is a part of your body. It is a part of your soul's body. You know, in the Christian faith, when they talk about taking the sacrament, right, and to eat of the Christ, right, to eat of the Christ body, I'm actually saying that here, which is to eat of your own, right, eat of your own soul's light, that as that money is coming in and out, it is your body. It is the body of your light. Some may call this the body of the Christ, and there is an aspect of that, you know, where it is the cosmic Christ, or known as the universal Christ, comes in to your reality. That is not a religious thing. That is actually simply a consciousness wave that you can access, a consciousness body that you can access. It is a God consciousness. When you access that, now this is what I was shown last night, so I had to give you those pieces, right, to understand those mechanics. When you access that, here's what's happening now. There is a geometry. These are new geometries. And when I say geometry, again, I want you to think quantum level, going like really, really minute, small level of creation, okay? There is a geometry of light that fills up your money, okay? I'm like doing my hands here because it's kind of like a geometry, right? I saw all these shapes like snowflakes that actually activate, okay? They're there as potential inside the frequency of your money and inside the frequency of your thoughts, your heart, and purpose, okay? They become activated into these divinely designed structures, all right, geometries again. Think of snowflakes as being a structure of light, and that structure actually informs, it's a code, okay? again, think of it as a system, all right? It informs light how to move in your life. It informs information that comes through light, how to shapeshift into your reality. Now, this is nothing you need to do except for those first two things that I talked about, really just the number one thing, how do I serve? What am I being called to do? And shifting your consciousness there. We are now getting layered. It's so supportive, it's amazing. We're getting layered with this level of support. I call it heaven support. I mean, it's heaven-based money that's coming in. And that comes in to actually create an anchoring, literally think of it like throwing an anchor from a boat, like anchoring your money. You know, I often say like X marks the spot, like put the money here. That's what these geometries are doing, which is saying wealth lives here. I am wealth. I am money. You become the form, the manifested form of that wealth frequency that happened from that simple shifting of how you approach your life, how you approach your money struggle, how you approach filling your bank account, and ultimately how you approach the perspective you have about the meaning of your life. So these geometries, as I saw them, they're flooding right now. Anyone's life who's asking the right questions, who's coming from the right place, meaning, you know, I'm not making it right or wrong, meaning I just mean the right question that locks in that frequency of wealth. And so when you ask that about anything, okay, and I challenge you this week that when you have a concern about money or your business and how to grow it to the next level, that you ask yourself, okay, because this doesn't stop. It's not just for the beginner who's just getting on a spiritual path and saying, you know, what's my spiritual purpose? It works there, but it also works at any moment because we are always being called to our next level of purpose, our next level of making a difference, which when you add it up, question after decision to question and then decision, which decisions are actions, right? We, over time, create a legacy of wealth through that commitment every single day of how is this situation calling me to serve more? What am I being called to do here? You know, this year in my business, it's been one of the biggest stretches I've had in over 3 years. You know, I'm in my 4th year of you know, this version of my business. I had many versions of my business. They were all evolutions to lead me to here. But in this version of my business, which, you know, holds that wealth container, out of any of the years, this has been a year of stretch, and I call it pressure. Pressure is really it's the God pressure to evolve to another level of service and another calling that is being put upon you in order to serve, really, because you've proven yourself to be capable. So I share this because, you know, this year more than any, I've felt the pressure. I felt the pressure to keep higher and higher pace with, you know, more income coming in. We're creating more programs. We're doing 2-day workshops. You know, we're out there in this world. You know, we're doing one in Australia. We went to the UK, like doing so many things, which requires more levels of income in order to invest forward, in order to make an even bigger difference in imprint. You know, my goal by the end of the year is to have activated 1 million light workers in the light tribe into their wealth. You know, that requires commitment. It requires investment. It requires stretching. So I'm sharing all this because it doesn't stop. It actually, you will continually be called to ask. You know, if you find yourself in a challenging situation where you've never been there before, first of all, praise it and be grateful for it, because it means you're about to gain more abundance. It means you're about to gain more clarity about your gifts, about who you are, and your capabilities. So ask yourself that question this week. You know, what am I being called towards? What is the calling? What is the reason that this is upon me right now? And when you open that door, again, more light will come into your life. More light will come into solving those problems and shifting what was perceived at first as a challenge, a limitation, a frustration, a stress. It will actually shift it into abundance. And these new geometries will flood it in. because they're inside the potential. They're inside the potential. And when those geometries activate, just again, imagine it like a little dot, and then inside that dot is the snowflake. And then just from that simple question that you asked, showing that you're open to receiving the answer and you're open to, that you can be trusted to follow through with it, then boom, the geometry opens up inside that light quotient, inside that light. And then you have this incredible grounding, this incredible structure. We really could say it's an integration. So we're at a point right now, those that are really tracking with these higher waves of light and this new consciousness of wealth that's coming in, it is an integration moment. It is an integration moment because form, in integrating with the form, is the moment of manifestation. All right, we've got the invisible, which is thought, intention, focus, consciousness from the heart, okay? And then when we get structure, it's the manifested form. So that's where we are, you guys, which is incredibly exciting because that means many of the things that you've been dreaming on, working on, and creating are about to pop open for you and manifest. So I ask you, if you want it to happen quicker, then the invitation to you this week is to ask with every single challenge you experience, every single stress or anxiety, and say, what am I being called towards? What am I being called towards? And become willing to serve it and serve it really well. All right, you guys, I hope this helped you. I'd love to know what you got from it. Just post down below here and I will support you as I can. All right, you guys, have a great week.